I have now watched 42nd Street twice in the space of, I think, about 6 or 8 months. And that's not because I love it, but because the first time I watched it, I was really disappointed and I just didn't see the appeal. But this is definitely my kind of film, and it should be one that I enjoyed. So I gave it a second chance. And I have to say that I did enjoy the second time round more, but I still don't think it's as amazing as a lot of people make out. This is the 1933 version. There have been several remakes, none of which I've seen, but if you think they're better or worth watching, let me know. It is not a bad film. It's just not one that I would hail as being, incredible. It had 2 Oscar nominations and 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb, Metascore of 83, which is pretty brilliant. I don't rate it that highly. Directed by Lloyd Bacon, written by James Seymour and Rian James, or perhaps Ryan James, and stars, among others, Warner Baxter, Bebe Daniels, George Brent, and Ruby Keeler. And we also have Ginger Rogers in this as well, and Dick Powell. Pretty good supporting cast, good main cast, and I will say the dances in this are incredible. So the description from IMDb is actually quite a spoiler. I was going to read it out, but it actually mentions something that happens in the final third of the film. So I don't want to do that. But basically, it's about this production that is in rehearsal for the majority of the film, and we're building up towards this musical review. And there are various problems along the way, and certain characters are very flashy in showbiz and full of themselves. Certain characters are quite meek and mild and talented, but maybe not a shining light, and it's all about the journey they go on. There are 1 or 2 subplots that I just thought were so pointless. They added nothing, and whenever they appeared, they detracted from the beauty of the performances, because the dancing itself and the vocals are great, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But whenever one of these subplots appeared, it was just so dull, not exciting, felt forced, didn't feel like it belonged in the narrative. It felt like it was an entirely different film. The tone shifted, the theme shifted, uncomfortably so. And I think the narrative is what I have the biggest issue with, in that it doesn't flow very well. It is quite slow at times. A lot of the characters are very similar to one another. They're not very interesting individuals to watch. A couple of them are, absolutely, but there are those that are just absolutely dull to watch, and therefore don't exactly make it very thrilling or enjoyable. However, the dance numbers, the choreography, all pretty great. I love tap dancing. I can't tap dance. If I could, I would love to learn to tap dance, but the performances in this are brilliant. The choreography is great. The synchronized performances are amazing. Everybody in this is very talented, and that is a fact. As for the soundtrack, there are 2 songs that I liked. The first is It Must Be June, and I liked Shuffle Off to Buffalo, which I thought was a pretty lively, catchy tune, and one that I really enjoyed. One that I'd probably listen to outside of watching this. The costumes are okay. This is a black and white film. I don't feel like we fully get the benefit of how, flamboyant some of the costumes are. They look nice, but I think they would have been nicer, in full colour. But that's obviously not the film's fault. It's entertaining enough. I'm glad I watched it a second time, because I now have a more positive attitude towards this film than I did before, at the very least. And I think I'm inclined to see one of the more recent versions, just to see what it's like, how it differs, what the songs are like. But I don't think I'll watch this 42nd Street again. At least I don't think I'd go out of my way to do it. There are too many problems with it, and also I've just read in the alternative version section on IMDb that there is a digitally restored and colorized version, that has been recently released. So that might be something worth seeing, but not in a hurry, absolutely not in a hurry. If you like musicals, if you like Golden Hollywood, definitely check it out. It might appeal to what you look for in a film. But for me, performances are great. The narrative, the characters, everything else just completely lets it down.